Hi, welcome back to 5.1, modeling periodic behavior. This is example 2. We're predicting values from a graph that has periodic behavior. Okay, it says consider the function shown. What is the period of the function? Okay, so I'm maybe going to mark off this point, the start of the cycle, and this goes up and down. And I don't want to keep going up because the cycle will have to stop here. That will be one full cycle. So for part A, we can say the period is equal to 6. Determine f of 2 and f of 5. So remember, this is a function, okay? I know we don't know the equation for it, but this is some function f of x. And if you remember from function notation, if it says f of 2, that means what's the y value when x is 2? That means I need to read 2 on the graph. When x is 2, the y value is 1. Okay, so I'm just reading the graph. Okay, so again, this just means what is y when x is 2? Okay, so we can tell just by inspecting the graph, when x is 2, the y value must be 1. Okay, we also want to find f of 5. So that's easy. Let's just read at 5, and I can see that's an x-intercept. So that means the y value is 0. So f of 5 is equal to 0. Okay, now it says predict f of 8, f of negative 10, f of 14. So notice on this graph, I can't find 8 on the graph, on the chart. So I'm going to have to make a prediction, okay? Nice thing is, this is a cycle that repeats, so I should be able to predict what the value is. So it's helpful to know the period. Okay, the period was 6 here. So that means every 6 units, the y values repeat. Okay, I'm just going to write that down. Every 6 units, the y values repeat. Okay. So in other words, that means f of x plus 6. So if I add the period, it's going to give me the same value. Okay. So that means, like, let's say if I let x equal 1, that means f of 7 is actually equal to f of 1 because they're 6 apart. Okay, because that's the period. So notice on the graph up here, so like f of 1 is up here. We'll add the period 6 and you're back at the same spot again. Okay, so that's what this means here. Whenever you add the period, to the x value, you're going to get the same value out. So how can we predict f of 8? Well, f of 8 is somewhere over here, right? 8 would be here, so it's probably somewhere in the graph around here. What I can do is I can back up one cycle and I can read the graph. So if I back up 6 units, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I can see I'm here at f of 2, and the y value is 1. Okay. So another way you can look at it is you could say at 2, if I add one cycle, it's going to put me at 8. Okay, so they'll have the exact same y value. So f of 8 is equal to f of 2, which we already found. It's just 1. Right, that's an 8 there, f of 8. Okay, let's do the same thing for f of 10. So f of 10, that has to be equal to, if I were to back up one full cycle, back up 6 units, I'd be at f of 4. Okay, and f of 4 is, on the graph, if I read that, I'm at -2. Okay, if you want, you can try the next one. You can pause the video. F of 14. So that's a little bit hard to visualize. It's way down the road. Okay, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to back up multiples of one full cycle. So I can back up 6 to go to f of 8, and then I can back up another 6 to go to f of 2. Okay, so we can write that here. F of 14 is going to be equal to f of 14. I'm going to back up 2 cycles. So I'm going to write 2 times 6. So it's actually just going to be equal to f of 2. Okay, those are 2 cycles. And we already found f of 2, right? That was just 1, right, on the graph. F of 2 is 1. Okay. So either you can add cycles to get a new value in the future, or if you have your value that's ahead that you can't see, you can subtract cycles. Okay, that's usually easier to go that way. All right, and part D, what is the amplitude? Well, that's easy. Max is equal to 3, and the minimum is -2. So amplitude is always half the distance from max to min. So I just subtract the max and min values together to get the distance, and then divide by 2. So 3 minus -2, that's 5 over 2, 2.5. Okay, so if you want, you could just say, therefore, amplitude is 2.5. All right, last part, E. Determine 4 x values such that f of x equals 2. So find 4 x values. So find 4 places on the graph, because those are the x values, when it's equal to 2, when y is 2. So I can actually find a few here. I can draw a line through 2, and I can say, oh, I have a spot here, 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 and here. I also have one there. Okay, that's kind of easy question to do. So I can say -6, -4. So I'll say f of x equals 2 when x equals -6, -4, and the other ones were 0, and we'll say the other one at 6. That's a little easier to read. Okay, I also could have just read the graph here at 0, and I could have added full cycles to that. So I could have did 0, 6, 12, 18, etc. Okay, that is it for example 2. I'll see you in the next video.